Okay, so you're only seeing this because you're a member of Live Life Light, and I want you to have the best, most effective journey possible. So every now and again we deliver you some private training to increase your knowledge about what you are doing. Because for some of you, you're doing your own thing, you're following your own diets, you're following your own regimes, and results might not be going exactly to plan. Okay, and that's shitty. I know it feels shitty, and especially if you're surrounded by people that are producing results. So obviously what we want to do is we want to nip this in the bud, and I want to give you a 30-minute lesson, and I'm going to time this 30 minutes about why 95% of diets fail. So I'm going to try and time 30 minutes. Might even go a little bit over, but let's time it. So I've got my timer going. So 30 minutes. So I'm going to blast it through for you. Okay, so I'll be popping in and out on video, but most of the time you'll just see the screen and listen to me talking. Guys, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I put this presentation together just for you, to help you. Other gyms don't do this shit. That's why we're special, because we go that extra mile for you. So, like I said, I'll be popping in and out like this. Popping in and out. Okay, so why do 95% of conventional diets fail? So firstly, before we even think about that, what is a diet? So we know that a diet is a temporary, and there's the key word, temporary change in nutrition. So it means that you are going to start it, but at some point you're going to come off it. So there's your first problem, is that you're going to start something that you know at some point you're going to come back off. So it's like, I'm going to feel good for a certain amount of time, I'm going to get my weight down, I'm going to get my body in good shape, I'm going to feel healthy-ish, and then I'm going to stop. So it's a temporary change. Okay, but what we want, I want you to feel fucking great. I want you to feel great forever, for as long as possible. So we can't be calling it a diet. It's got to be a lifestyle change. As boring as it sounds, as unsexy as it sounds, it's a lifestyle change, because you want these results for life. So two problems. So one, weight loss never lasts. 95% of the people cannot keep it off. And number two, the weight you lose from low-calorie diet is generally muscle and water, and not fat. So it's generally muscle and water. My heart's gone funny. Muscle and water, and not fat, unless you can prove to me otherwise. But you can't prove to me otherwise, because a lot of you only weigh yourself, and that's why the problem comes. You need to weigh, measure, have pictures taken, and more importantly, if possible, get your body fat levels done. Yeah, no measurement is 1,000% accurate. But what they do is they give you a very good guideline, and it shows progressions, and it'll give you a relatively half decent reading. And like I said, any readings are better than no readings. So like I said, people that are losing weight, you don't know if that's body fat by just standing on a scale. You don't know. So a lot of us are guessing currently. So getting your body fat done once a month is usually a key monitor of progression. So weight loss never lasts on a diet. 90% of people, that's the stats, guys, that's the stats. Numbers do not lie. So what we need to do, before you even start a diet, you need to think about why are you doing it. So some people are guilty of emotional, let's try and get this down here. Some people are guilty of emotional or logical. Yeah. So some people like see a picture of themselves and they don't like it, so I'm going to start a diet. Some people have a bad comment said about them and they don't like it, so I'm going to start a diet. So it's not actually a logical decision. So you haven't like planned and prepped it. You've just had a bad moment and you've thought, I'm going to jump onto this diet. So you're not in a stable place mentally to do that. You're not in a stable place. So what you need to do is you need to consider, is your start point logical or emotional? Because that's going to determine whether or not, let's get me off the screen, that's going to determine whether or not you're going to be successful long term or not. Because logical means that you've planned and prepped it, you know what you're doing. Emotional is, it's just like emotional eating, it ruins you. Some of you haven't looked at the obstacles in the past. So why haven't you already got the body that you want? Why are you currently not in the body that you want? Why has it failed over and over again in the past? Why haven't you got that body? What obstacles happened that stopped you from sticking to the diet in the past? So unless you sort out those obstacles, they're always going to arise. They're always going to come back up, and you're always going to come across them. So if every time you hit the obstacle, you stop, you need to solve that obstacle. Whether it's I haven't got time to stick to the diet, I haven't got support, whatever it may be, you need to look at that. Some people, like, what do you actually want? Some people don't even know that, so they start these diets and they don't actually know what the outcome is that you want. What do you want and why do you want it? What do you want and why do you want it, guys? You need to know these reasons. What is the outcome of this diet? This change in nutrition. What is it that you actually truly want? Next, where did you get the diet from? We all know that every diet will work to some degree, because every diet revolves around a restriction of calories. So if you eat any amount of less calories, your body shape will change. That's for sure. But where did you get the diet from? Who did you get it off? Who's advising you? Okay, remember, the people that are advising you, they need to have some type of credibility. They need to have your best interests at heart. So these are the sort of things you need to look at before you start the diet. Have you got a support network? Okay, people who say, I'm just going to do it on my own, generally fail. You need to have a trainer or friends at the gym or people who are doing the diet as well. Those type of networks make people far more successful. And accountability. So when you do start this diet and you do want these magical changes, how are you going to prove it? How are you going to keep yourself motivated? Who are you going to go to keep yourself focused? Who are you going to go to keep yourself on track? Who are you going to go to that's going to give you the feedback to say, yep, what you're doing is working, or what you're doing isn't working? A lot of us are guilty of doing these training programs or diets and we don't want to get weighed or measured, and we don't want to have pictures taken. Why? Because the reason why you're on that diet is for those exact reasons, because you want the measurements to be better, you want the weight to be better, and you want your pictures and your reflection to be better. So why wouldn't you have it done? So those are a few things I want you to consider, guys, before you start. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it, and what do you want? What is this big thing you want to achieve? And why do you want to achieve it? So, we've talked about what a diet is, the two main problems. So the two main problems being people can't stick to them and we lose a lot of muscle doing that. I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper in a second. And why do you start this diet? Why is it? So don't do it on emotional reasons. Think about your obstacles. What do you actually want and why? Where are you getting your diet from? Is it got any credibility? Remember, all diets will work to some degree. Who's advising you? Who's your support network? Friends, family, partner? Are they on board with it? Because if they're not, you're going to fucking struggle. And who's your accountability system? So who do you go to tell you you are doing the work, it is working, or no, you're not fucking doing the work properly, and no, your body shape isn't changing? Because like I said, if you don't want to get weighed, measured and have your pictures taken, but they're the changes that you want, then you've got a serious issue in the fact that you're not going to be able to monitor it. And when you do see changes in your measurements, it gets you motivated. It feels fucking good. Feel good. Okay, so do diets work? Of course they work. Diets work because they have a restriction in calories. Every single diet, doesn't matter what the name, they can name them whatever they want, but they all revolve around eating less. Because a diet will not work if you eat more calories than you're burning, because you will put on weight. You will not find a diet out there that will work if you are eating more than you are burning. That is simple, guys. You've got to be in calorie deficit to lose weight. But what I'm talking about is the diet cycle. So we start a diet, and already we have this negative thought process that it's restrictive. And as humans, we don't like to be restrictive. We don't like to be controlled. We don't like it. We don't like to be told what to do. We don't like having things that we're not allowed. We don't like that. We like more flexibility. So already a diet signals restriction, control, and it might even trigger some negative thoughts, because obviously you might have failed over and over in the past, so you already got a negative mindset to start off with. So restriction, then deprivation, then cravings, then we give in, and then we've got the guilt from giving in, then we start again. Because we all know when we have a diet, so week 1 to 4, our weight, because we've dropped our calories so much, our weight is obviously going to drop. And when I say it's our weight, because a lot of the weight that you're going to lose is from water and muscle, especially if you just dropping your calorie. Remember, I'm talking about low calorie diets here. And this is why they don't work, because you feel so restricted, you feel deprived. Because if you're going from 2,500 to 1,200, and you've been eating 2,500 every day for the last 5 years, and all of a sudden you've had emotional reason, you want to start dieting, you go straight to 1,200, it's too big of a jump. Let's get this hat off. Let's get some bombs. So it's too big of a jump. It's too big. So it's over half your calories, boom, gone, and you wonder why. Your mental state isn't good, you're tired, you're fatigued, and it's a struggle. A fucking struggle to be able to do it. So that's why you feel deprived, that's why you get cravings, because it's too big of a jump, and then you give in because you can't sustain it over a period of time. And then you feel guilty for giving it in, and then all of a sudden a few months down the line you start again, and you follow the whole vicious circle. It's because it's not planned, controlled, and you're trying to do too much. You're trying to do too much at one time, and it will never ever work. Because the diets, so let's look at the evidence. So statistics tell us that people are getting fatter. So we have more solutions than ever. We have more solutions than ever. We have more gyms than ever. We have more diets than ever. We have more healthy food options than ever. We have more trainers than ever, boot camps than ever. We've got more of everything than ever. Yet why are we fatter? I want you to consider that it's not a skill set problem. So we know all the information, we know how to lose weight, we know how to just eat less shit and move more. I'd have you consider that it's a mindset problem, that we're just not willing to do the work. So we don't need any more information of how to lose weight, because we know how to lose weight. Everyone knows how to lose weight. And if you pretend that you don't know how to lose weight, you're fucking lying, because you know. Because we know how to put on weight, so do the opposite to that. So I'd have you consider that it's a mindset problem. I always talk about mindset. Mindset is, this is the control. This is the controller of you. What this says, you do. So we need to make your mindset as strong as possible. Because like I said, evidence tells us that diets aren't working, because we're now at a percentage of 52% of obese people in Britain. So that's over 1 in 2. So we are currently at our worst state yet. We've got more facilities, more diets, and everything than ever. So like I said, it's a mindset problem, and also kind of a knowledge problem, because like I said, if people are jumping too quick with too big of because they want this drastic loss, so they're reducing so quickly and they get these big massive weight losses, a lot of the weight loss is water and muscle, which I'll go through in a bit. So mindset. So why eating less doesn't always work. So calories in versus calories out, guys, it's a great theory. It's a great theory, and for the majority of us, it is going to work, yeah. But nothing is 1,000% accurate, okay? As much as you want to monitor your nutrition and monitor your food and monitor your intake and what you're burning, it's not 1,000% accurate. So there is room for errors, okay? But why are some people overweight? Some overweight people eat less than lean people, yet they still can't lose any weight at all. This might be you. So imagine that you might have a 2,200 calorie maintenance level. So to maintain your weight, you eat 2,200 calories per day, and then you drop it to 800 to 1,000 calories a day, and you still don't lose any weight. How is it possible that you can drop it by that much and still not lose any weight? This is what I want to discuss. So let's think about the simple maths around it. So for example, we've got like a 200 pound person. So say they're eating 3,000 calories per day. That's why they're overweight. And then they think, fuck it, I'm going to start a diet, and because I want to lose weight, so I'm going to go down to 1,000 calories per day. So that's 2,000 less per day, which is a lot of calories. So that is 14,000 calories per week. Yeah, so this is just by dropping food, 2,000 calories a day down to 1,000. That's 2,000 calories per day saved. So 2 times 7 is 14,000 calories. So that's roughly, because there's 3,500 calories in a pound, that is roughly 4 pounds per week. So if I was a 200 pound person and I lost 4 pounds per week over a year, that would be 208 pounds per year. So that would be 208 pounds per year. So I only weigh 200 pounds, so how could I possibly lose 208 pounds? So something must happen for my body to stop losing weight. Something must happen. So all of a sudden I've gone from 3,000 calories to 1,000 calories per day. So theoretically, that's a 2,000 calorie deficit per day, which equals to 14,000 calories per week. And that's 4 pounds per week. So theoretically I should be losing 208 pounds per year, but if I only weigh 200 to start off with, that means I'd die. So what happens? What happens to the body? So let's go through it. So what happens is a starvation response. So starvation response is a weight regulating mechanism that recognises when there's a food shortage and decreases energy to protect you. Okay, so the body realizes that it's, because the body's a lot smarter than you think, the body realizes that it's not getting much food, so it slows down. It slows down. So what it slows down is it slows down your metabolism. It slows down your metabolism. So you think by decreasing your food by 3,000 calories a day to 1,000 calories per day is going to help you lose weight. Yes, it will help you lose weight in the initial 3 to 6 weeks. But what will happen is your body will then slow down. Your body will realise that it's not getting much food, so it'll then start holding on to fat. It'll start holding on to fat. Because it wants to regulate the body, because the body wants you to survive more than anything. So if it realises that there's a shortage and the body can't tell the difference between diet and starvation, so it has this really, really amazing ability to slow down its calorie expenditure, and it'll start burning muscle instead of fat. Because the reason why it starts burning muscle is because muscle is metabolically active. So the more muscle you have, the more your body's burning like mad. Now if the body senses that it's not getting much food in, then the body can't keep burning at a high rate, because all of a sudden you'll become non-existent. Your body can't burn at a high rate. So what the body does, it realises that it's not getting much food, so it slows down your metabolic rate to a rate that your body can burn and still stay alive and still have energy. So just to make it as simple as possible, when you reduce your calories by a high amount, and I'm talking dropping down to like 1,000 calories, and if you've gone from 2,000 to 1,000, the body instantly has a response, and that's a starvation response. So what it does, it slows down your rate of burning, slows it down. Because obviously what the body wants to do is wants to regulate the body, and it wants to survive, and it won't survive if it keeps burning at a high rate, because you're not putting the food in, so it's going to slow down. So that's called the starvation response, guys, and a lot of you are probably in there because you're going down to such low calories that the body will no longer allow you to burn fat, because it's holding on to the fat for energy. So what it does is it gets rid of muscle, because muscle is metabolically active and it's burning like crazy, so the body wants to get it out of the body. So what you're doing by going on low calories is you are not only losing water, but you're losing muscle, and muscle is one of the biggest effectors of having a great metabolism. So when you're eating food, it's burning it straight away. That's why bodybuilders who are high in muscle volume can eat 6, 7, 8 meals per day and not put on an ounce of fat, because their body's like a furnace, it's full of muscle, and that's why the metabolic rate will be awesome because of the high muscle volume, and body will just bang straight through all the food they're putting in. So 7 reasons, guys, 7 reasons why to avoid very low diets. So number 1, like I said, it slows down your metabolic rate. I put like a little analogy here. So if you're earning £4,000 a month, but your boss suddenly cuts your pay to £2,500 a month, and you try to live on the same lifestyle on a £2,500 a month as you did on a £4,000 a month, after a while you'll have to adjust and save money and change your lifestyle. The same is true with calorie intake. It is simply too low. When calories are cut below basal metabolic needs, the body will accommodate and slow down its metabolism, so it becomes difficult to lose fat even on low calories. So you can't expect a high metabolic rate if you're starving yourself and losing muscle, because that's what that does, is it slows it down. It slows it drastically down. So number 2, low calories diets make you lose muscle. Like I said, the body conserves energy when it's on a diet. So your energy is your fat. So what it does is it wants to get rid of anything that's burning a lot of energy. So that's anything metabolically active, so that's muscle. So diets tend to be low carb, and low carb diets you tend to lose a lot of water. So when you have a high carb diet, so like on a weekend when you eat more carbs, you will tend to be heavier on a Sunday or a Monday, because when you eat carbs, for every gram of carbs you store 3 grams of water. So you'll notice that after a high carb day or after a treat day, reward day, you will weigh more. That's not because of fat. You don't put on fat overnight. That's because of increased water. So like I said, when you reduce the carbs, it has the opposite effect. So you tend to lose a lot of water. That's why you have big losses straight away. Remember, you're only capable of losing up to around about 2 pounds of actual fat per week. So if you're losing 8 pounds, that means the 6 pounds. So you might have lost 2 pounds from 2 pounds of fat, but the other 6 pounds will be of. We're on 25 minutes already. The other 6 pounds will be of muscle and water, and the more muscle you keep losing. Remember, water, you can just put it back on it after a drink, but the more muscle you keep losing, the worse that metabolic rate becomes. So when you decide to come off this little diet that you're on and go back to normal eating, what you were eating to maintain your weight, so say if you were on a 3,000 calorie diet and that was maintaining your weight at whatever level it was, now because your metabolic rate has dropped, the rate at which you're burning calories has dropped, now going back onto what you were eating will actually make you put on weight, which is crazy. That's why people have a rebound. That's why people go on a diet and then when they go back to normal eating, they actually get fatter than ever. So diets increase the activity of fat storing enzymes and decrease fat burning. So the chief fat store is called lipoprotein. So when you drop your calories really, really low, your body goes into survival mode, because obviously your body's main I'm trying to think of a word for it. Your body's main priority is to survive. So when it realizes it's going to get a lack of food, the body releases an enzyme called lipoprotein. I'm not going to go too scientific, and that is for fat storing. So it wants it to store more fat because it feels like it's being starved. Like I said, the body's all about survival. So decreasing really, really low, again, everything's telling us it's going to make us fatter. That's why big jumps in calorie drops isn't great for you. Number 4, let's talk about the thyroid. Diets decrease the output of the thyroid hormone. So we hear this, my thyroid, I've got thyroid problems. Yeah, one of the problems is, well, firstly, your thyroid, guys, is responsible for the rate at which you burn calories at rest. Okay? That's what a thyroid hormone is. So if you reduce your calories by a lot, it actually reduces the output of the active thyroid hormone. So it actually, the result of you being on your really drastic diet is that it decreases your metabolic rate, and it allows fewer calories to be burned. This is crazy what we're doing to our body, and this is why I don't tell people to jump so low. So imagine, do you know when you talk about low diets, when people have these 500 calorie a day diets, so they do 3 days 500 calories and then 1 day they go back to normal, 500 calories, one day back to normal, and they wonder why their fucking body isn't changing, because everything slows down, everything decreases, and when it slows down and decreases, it makes everything harder. So over time, when you're on this diet, you can't sustain it, because you're seeing very little results after week 4 to 6. And you think, for all this effort, all this starvation, all this hunger, all these cravings, and all this reduction, and you're not actually really getting anywhere. And that's why 95% of people fail. Hopefully this is going to be really helpful for a lot of you guys. Because that's why really, really overweight people can go to such a low level of calories and actually not lose anything. So like I said, diet increases the chance of rebound. We after a few weeks it plateaus, you get no results, you realise the sacrifices are too hard. Diets actually give you less muscle volume and they decrease metabolism. So what you were eating to maintain your weight, now you eat when you come back off your diet, you now actually helps you put on weight. So you actually become fatter whilst eating less. And every time you yo-yo diet, it messes around with your metabolism. It reduces your muscle mass. And remember, you need, like going on a diet, all it'll do is shrink your body. And yeah, shrinking might look great, but when you take your clothes off and you look at your body, you need muscle tone to actually look good naked. There's no point just looking good in clothes. When you whip off those clothes off, you want to actually look toned, look nice. So that's why you need muscle as well. But the primary reason is that muscle will increase your metabolism, and dieting, a big massive restriction with your dieting, will lose muscle. And because of the low carb, because everyone goes low carb, you'll lose water. So no wonder you lose these big volumes of weight initially. But is it something that you can do long term? I doubt it. I very much doubt it. That's why all these new diets keep coming up with new names, but they all revolve around eating less. So it has to be a lifestyle choice. Diets increase your appetite and cravings. So like I said, when your body feels like, so if it's gone from 3,000 calories per day to 1,000 calories per day, already your body's sending off triggers that it's stressed. And what happens when we're stressed? We become more hungry and we're more likely to pick. And the cravings too hard to resist. And have you got enough willpower? Yeah, people might have willpower over 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, but what about the rest of the year, the rest of your life? And do you want to continually lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose muscle, gain muscle, lose muscle, gain muscle? And obviously over time, your body is going to have an effect on your body. So number 7, diets decrease your energy. Let's not forget about this, guys. Diets decrease your energy. So if you're going from 3,000 calories per day to 1,000 calories per day, that is an energy decrease. So when you've got really, really low calories, you become tired. What happens when you become tired? Your decision making becomes poor. Your ability to stick to a diet becomes less. Your motivation becomes less. No wonder people can't sustain it. And then they have that low energy that they actually can't train that hard because they've got nothing in them. And they're starving, and usually what happens is they go home and binge because the energies are that low, and they end up eating more in a binge than they would do across a day. So successfully, you need to not work on diet alone. You need to have a plan that includes a reduction in calories. So we look for 500 to 750 with your food, so it's quite realistic. And also you need to know what your current level is. So if you're currently eating 2,500, if you drop by 500 and you increase your cardio and you do some weight training, it's better to burn the fat than it is to starve the fat, because I've just told you, when you starve the fat, you lose muscle. Muscle affects your metabolism. So it's better to have a smaller gap with your nutrition and burn more volume through increased daily activity. That's through walking and normal day-to-day actions, and include an aerobic and weight training. We need that weight training. Why? Because it helps us maintain our muscle mass, and we need the muscle. Let's go. So we've got, I'm going to run through 8 strategies to stay out of the starvation mode and lose fat permanently without dieting or deprivation. Posh words. Okay, so adapt, guys, we've heard all this before. So adapt a habit instead of a diet. Don't call it a diet. Say, I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm now going to become the person I want to be long term. I'm sick of these diets. I'm sick of starting feeling great, making sacrifices, feeling shit. I just want to find something that suits me for the long term. But we have to be in calorie deficit to lose fat, guys. So that means whatever calories you have to maintain your body, we need to be slightly less than that, and then we need to add in the exercise calories, and that's where we're going to create our loss. So we're not starving ourselves, we're burning fat rather than starvation mode. So adapting a habit. So we say 21 days it takes to start a habit. It's actually 66 days. Research tells us that a habit then becomes a long-term habit. So let's think about long-term, guys. Don't join a gym for a month and then stop. Join a gym for another month and stop. Remember, your body likes consistency. We like consistency. Like I said the other day, you wouldn't like it if your TV programs changed the time that they were on every single week, would you? So you wouldn't know where you're at. We like to sit down, know that this is on at that time, this is on at this time, and that's because we like consistency. We like to know where we're at, and that's the same with your body. Keep your muscle at all costs. The more muscle, the more calorie burn. Even when resting, guys, even when resting, the more muscular you are. So say if you've got a desk job and you're not really burning any calories through activity, if you have more muscle, your body will be burning more for every minute, for every hour of the day. So you're less likely to gain weight. So weight training will also help you. The reason why I have my transformation course and my clients do a lot of weight training is because it'll help retain muscle even if they are dieting. So we want to hold on to as much muscle as possible. The weight we want to lose is fat, not muscle. Remember, like I said at the start, you need to know what you're losing. So retain your muscle at all costs. Use a small calorie deficit. I said to you, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. So the best is to decrease your food slightly and increase your exercise. Remember, you have to have a combination of aerobic and weight training. I wouldn't go for anything more than 500 to 700 calories max. Remember, with nutrition, a lot of us are compulsive liars. We actually don't know how much we're eating. We're not really recording absolutely everything. So we're not really that honest. The only way it's going to work is if you're honest. Okay, so one good method is the zigzag method. So the zigzag method is dropping your calories. So say if you're going to drop it by 750 calories per day, and your metabolism, like we spoke about, is very smart. It's smarter than you, smarter than me, and it will react. So it takes about 4 days for your metabolism to adjust. So if on that 4th day you go back to your normal calorie intake, your metabolism will go back to normal, and it'll think it's not starving, so it can burn at a normal rate again. So every 4th day, that's one of the tricks. I know little doesn't sound exciting, but if you lost £1 a week over a year, that's £52. So that is what, nearly 4 stone. So if I told you you could lose 4 stone over a year, how would that change your life? It'd massively change people's lives, especially if you're severely overweight. So if you think about it as a long-term thing rather than a short-term thing, then you will be happy with £1 a week. It's just that we see these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, £10 per week, but what we don't realise is that it's going to have a worse effect in the long run, in the fact that we're going to lose muscle, and then when we decide to go off our diet, we're then going to pile back on the weight. And we see it over and over again, and you will know someone that has done that. So let me just tell you a few reasons why it's better to burn the fat than it is to starve it. So firstly, exercise increases your metabolic rate. We've already talked about that. It makes the rate at which you burn calories faster and more. Exercise can create a calorie deficit without triggering the starvation response. So the body won't think it's starving because you're still eating. By reducing just by 500, you're still eating a fairly decent amount, 500, 750 calories. By reducing by that much, you're still eating a half decent amount. So you're getting so your body's not thinking that it's starving. So it's not gonna slow down its metabolism. It's not gonna slow down the release of the thyroid hormone. It's not gonna increase the fat storing enzyme that we talked about, the lipoprotein. So exercise is the key, guys. That's why diet alone will only take you so far, and this is why people on Weight Watchers, Slimming World, and if they rely upon that alone, they'll get to a certain point and then results will start getting worse, because there's only so far you can keep reducing your calories before you're eating dust and water, and you can't survive on that. And your muscle mass has dropped all that time. You go back to normal eating, and then all you do is balloon. So exercise is good for your health, don't forget that. Dieting is harmful to your health. Exercise makes you feel good, and when you feel good about yourself, you're more likely to stick to it and adhere to it in the long run. So the weight training signals to your body to keep muscle and not burn it for energy. Dieting without exercise can result in 50% of your weight loss from muscle. Imagine you losing £5 per week and you think you're doing amazing, but actually £3 of that is muscle every single week. So yeah, you might be getting lighter, but you're losing muscle. So when you go back to normal eating, because you can't sustain the diet, your metabolic rate's gone. It's gone really low. And then you put on loads of weight. Crazy. Number 6. Oh, no. Number 5. So determine your minimum calories. Okay? No one should be eating less than 1,000 calories. That's for certain. I hear these crazy things that people eating 1,000 calories. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's too low. This is why it's not working for you. So the recommended guidelines, and these are only guidelines, is 1,200 for a woman, 1,800 for a man. Obviously it depends on size, weight, activity, but they're roughly guidelines. So the maximum deficit, max shouldn't be more than 1,000 calories. Shouldn't be more than 1,000 calories. So I said 500 to 750 calories max, and do your burn from exercise rather than nutrition. Because remember, if you want to burn more, work harder. That's a simple way of burning more. So when you go to the gym and you do a half-hearted effort for an hour, remember, it's easier to burn calories through exercise mentally than it is to starve yourself. Okay? So say for example, if you do burn your calories, if you do drop your calories, by 1,000. Say for example you were 1,600 calories and that maintained your weight, and you dropped it by 1,000, that would be 600 calories. It'd be crazy, you'd be in danger. So you'd be better off dropping it by 20%. So that would be 1,280 calories. So you either drop it by 500 to 750 calories or 20%. I know it might not sound exciting and your results might be slower, but over the long run they're going to be more sustainable and you're going to get long-term satisfaction. And that's what we're after. Number 6, we're nearly there, guys. I'm nearly finished. 6. Eat more frequently and never skip meals. Okay? Sorry, I'm just having some water. So it's better to graze than gorge. So that means, guys, it's not smart and it's not clever by starving yourself and skipping meals. Because what happens, I've already told you, the body slows down its metabolism. The body increases the ability to retain fat and burn muscle. Why would you want to do that? You don't want to. So you need to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Okay? I'm going to give you an example of what some people might be guilty of. Is, say for example you eat lunch at 12 and then you eat your dinner at 7. Okay? So you skip breakfast. So you're going from 7 p.m. So say for example you skip breakfast and then you have your dinner, so you're going from 7 p.m. till 12 the next day without food. That's 17 hours without food. And after 3 to 4 hours the body starts becoming anxious, starts going into starvation mode, blood sugar levels start going low, and all of a sudden the body starts utilising its muscle because it thinks that it's not getting any food, so it has to slow down its rate of burning, so it has to stop this muscle from burning like crazy to survive. So if you eat more often, you will get leaner as long as the quantity is right. Any people that say the calories don't matter is absolutely bullshit, because if you are eating too much, no matter how healthy it is, you will not lose weight. You can eat, if you need to eat 1,500 calories to lose weight, and you're eating 2,000 calories of chicken and veg, that's still 500 too much, so you will still put on weight. Even though it might look healthy on paper, too much is too much. It's like if you get a wage every month of £2,000 and you spend 2,500 every month, you are in debt. Irrelevant of if you've spent it on all good things. Okay, so number 7, nearly there, 2 to go. Don't stay in a negative calorie deficit for long. Okay? Don't stay in it for long, because so results stop. Results will stop, people panic. Results stop, so people panic. So they cut the calories even more. So what happens? So your results slow down, you cut your calories more. Results slow down, you cut calories more. And all of a sudden, you're not eating nothing at all, and that's non-sustainable. So what I need to do, like I said to you before, every 4th day, or every 3rd day, every 4th day, just raise your calories up. So it replenishes the body, it makes you feel good, reshocks your metabolism, and then you're ready to go again. So your weight regulating mechanism works both ways. So if you decrease your rate of energy expenditure when there is decrease your rate of energy expenditure when there's a calorie deficit, and it'll increase the burning when there's a calorie surplus. So when you get more calories, so on that day where you add more calories in, the body will be going crazy because it's not used to it. It's like if you win the lottery, you go crazy and spend loads and loads of money because you're not used to it. Same way your metabolism is not used to this food. If you've been on that diet for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday you increase those calories, the body then reactivates itself and starts burning again. So that's one good way of trying to trick your diet. yeah, so last bit, like I said, a goal of losing 1 to 2 pounds per week is better over the long term, because that could be possibly £50 in a year. That's 4 stone in a year. It's just your mindset. You need to go into it with a long-term plan. Think of it like a mortgage for your house. You're not going to pay your mortgage off in a year, are you? It's a 25-30 year thing, and you're going to do little deposits every single month to get that target. And you know that you're in it for the long run. So just the way you're in it for your mortgage, think about your body as well. So you can only lose a maximum of £2 of fat per week, and that's a max. So not always are we at our max. So everything else is probably water and muscle. So why lose weight faster if 95% of people are going to put it on? Do not confuse fat loss and weight loss. So weight loss you'll only know by using the scales. That's why nutrition groups, that piss me off when they only do weight, because they don't know what the fuck they're losing. They think they're losing fat and they haven't got a fucking clue. So guys, hopefully this little training's helped you, and it'll help you to become more educated, realise that dropping calories isn't the way forward. Massive amount of calories isn't the way forward. We need a little drop and an increase through training and weight training and daily activity. Okay, remember, we need to eat little and often. Skipping meals does not help, and if you go with your calories too low, you're going to fuck about your metabolism so much that when you come off your diet, whatever you do, when you go back to normal eating, you're actually going to gain weight, and I don't want that to happen, especially to you guys who are at my gym. So thanks for your time for this. Hopefully it's happened. If you've got any questions, bang them at the bottom. Obviously I will answer them for you, but hopefully this has helped. And remember, nothing will happen unless you figure out in here. And remember, losing weight isn't a skill set problem because you know what you're doing. It's a mindset problem because you're not doing it. And like I said, if some of you are making the mistake of dropping your calories too low and nothing's changing, hopefully this would have helped you sort that one out. Have a good day, and hopefully the fat loss will start happening.